10th Standard Algebra, Chapter 4, Financial Planning, Module 1. In this module, we'll study the basic about financial planning, and the first concept would be GST. Let us understand what is GST. The full form of GST is Goods and Service Tax. Taxes that existed before, there were excise duty, custom duty, VAT, that is a value added tax, entertainment tax, central sales tax, service tax, etc. All these taxes are now summed under one new title, and that is called as a GST. And that is the reason GST is called as one nation, one tax, one market. GST came into effect from 1st July 2017. Let us consider some important points. The first is CGST. The full form of CGST is Central Goods and Service Tax, and this tax is paid to the central government. Second point is the SGST, and the full form is the State Goods and Service Tax, which is to be paid to the state government. CGST and SGST are two components of GST. GSTIN, also known as a Goods and Service Tax Identification Number. This is a 15-digit alphanumeric number. Services are classified and special code numbers are given to them. Depending on the services, the rate of GST is fixed and charged. For example, if you see in the first one, it is a 0 rated. So here 0% GST is charged. So for goods like essential commodities like food grains, fruits, vegetable, services like charitable trust activities, transport or waters, for such goods and services, 0% GST is charged. Second is called as a low rated, and the goods and services like commonly used items like LPG cylinder, tea, coffee, oil, services like railway transport, bus transport, taxi, etc. On these, 5% GST is charged. If you see the third, these are called as a standard rated, also called as a first slab, wherein the government charges 12% GST. So goods like consumer goods like butter, ghee, dry, services like printing job, guest house if you go for a holiday staying in a guest house, services related to construction, business, etc. Here 12% GST is charged. If you see the fourth standard rated, that is a second slab. So for goods like marble, granite, perfumes, services like courier services, outdoor catering, circus, drama, cinema, etc., 18% GST is charged. And if you see the last, that is called as a highly rated, where 28% GST is charged. So here goods like luxury items like motorcycles, washing machine, fridge, etc., services like staying in a 5-star hotel accommodation, visiting amusement park, water parks, flight travels, air transport, etc. So these are little bit luxurious items, and they come under highly rated, hence 28% GST is charged. Let us understand GST by this particular example. Aarti Gas Agency supplied LPG cylinder to the consumer for taxable value of rupees 545. So in this case, if you see LPG cylinder, it is sold to the consumer for a taxable value. Or in other words, in simple words, I can call this to be as a cost price of the cylinder. So cost price and taxable value will be one and the same. In this case, the GST charged is 5%. What is the amount of CGST, that is Central Goods and Service Tax, and SGST, that is State Goods and Service Tax? What is the total amount paid by the consumer? and find the amount of GST to be paid by Aarti Gas Agency. So in this particular sum, we have to find out two things: the GST and the total amount that the consumer will pay, including the GST. Let us start with the solution. So we know rate of GST is 5%. Now one thing to keep in mind is GST is formed by two components, and that is CGST and SGST. One very important point to keep in mind here is that CGST and SGST would be half of your GST. So here GST is 5%. If you take half of 5, that would be 2.5. Hence, rate of CGST is 2.5 and rate of SGST is 2.5. So if I want to find the amount of CGST, so I have to find out 2.5% of my taxable value. So taxable value is 545. So 2.5% of 545 will be 2.5 upon 100 multiplied by 545, which will give you 13.63. So your CGST is 13.63. Since I said CGST and SGST will be the same in rate as well as in rupees, your SGST will also be 13.63. And amount paid by the consumer. So if you are the consumer, so the total amount that you will pay to buy the LPG cylinder would be the taxable value. In other words, the cost price of the cylinder plus your CGST plus your SGST. If you substitute the values, we'll get 545 plus 13.63 plus 13.63, because we know CGST and SGST both will be the same, and in this case they are 13.63. This sums up to be 572.26. So Aarti Gas Agency has to pay a CGST of 13.63, SGST also of 13.63, and the total amount to be paid by the customer is 572.26, and the total GST, that would be the sum of SGST plus CGST. So if you do 13.63 plus 13.63, or you just multiply it by 2, that will be 27.26. Let us understand one more example. In this case, courier service agent charged total rupees 590 to courier a parcel from Nasik to Nagpur. In the tax invoice, taxable value is rupees 500, on which CGST is rupees 45 and SGST is also 45. We have to find the rate of GST charged for this service. So if you see the solution, total GST would be CGST plus SGST. So both of these are given in the question. So 45 plus 45 will be rupees 90. So rupees 90 is the total GST charged, amount of GST charged. We have to find out the rate of GST. So this is the basic principle. So since we know the amount of GST and the taxable value is 500, so the rate of GST would be 990 upon 500 into 100, because 90 is a GST charged, 500 is the taxable value. So the formula here would be rate of GST would equal to GST amount divided by taxable value into 100. So if you simplify this, you will get 18%. So the rate of GST charged by the agent here is 18%. Let us see one more example. Shrikar bought a laptop with 10% discount on the printed price. The printed price of the laptop was rupees 50,000. And here you see 18% GST was charged on the discounted price. We have to find the amount of CGST and SGST and what amount did Shrikar pay. So first let us find out the discount. Since there was 10% discount on the printed price, we'll find out the discounted amount. So we'll first find out 10% of 550. So 10% of 50,000 is rupees 5,000. And if you subtract 5,000 from the printed price, you'll get 45,000 because he was given 5,000 discount. So now the taxable value of the laptop will be rupees 45,000. Now the rate of GST, as it is mentioned in the question, it is 18%. And if you want to find out the rate of CGST or SGST, it will be half of GST. So half of 18% is 9. So rate of CGST will be 9. Now we want to find out the amount of GST. So of CGST. So this will be 9% of your taxable value. So 9% of 45,000, that is 9 upon 100 into 45,000, which after simplifying you get rupees 4050. So 4050. Now since CGST and SGST will be the same, so SGST will also be rupees 4050. Now amount paid will be taxable value, which is 45,000, plus CGST, which is 4050, plus SGST, which is also 4050. If you total it up, you will get 53,100. So the total amount paid would be rupees 53,100 rupees. So Shrikar paid 53,100 rupees for the laptop. Now let us note few points here. Value of goods on which the GST is levied is called as a taxable value. Value of goods, we can also call it as the cost price. So cost price of that particular good is also called as the taxable value. Second, total value or invoice value is the value with GST. So the total value, or it's also called as an invoice value, it will be the cost price or the taxable value with along with your GST. And last, if not mentioned, take the selling price as taxable price. So if any particular question, if the selling price is given and it is not mentioned that the selling price is the taxable value or not, then you take that selling price to be the taxable price itself. And remember that in tax invoice, CGST amount is always equal to SGST amount. So CGST amount and the SGST amount, as well as a rate of CGST and the rate of SGST will always be the same. Let us see practice set 4.1, the sums included here. So this is the first question. Pawan Medical supplies medicines. On some medicines, the rate of GST is 12%. Then, what is the rate of CGST and SGST? So let us start with the solution here. So if you see the rate of CGST, that is 12% given, and we already know that rate of CGST and rate of SGST will be the same, and the rate of CGST will be half of your rate of GST. So if you see rate of GST is given 12% and half of 12 is 6. So rate of CGST will be 6%. Also, if you see the third line in the sum is rate of CGST plus rate of SGST will be equal to rate of GST. Since both of these are equal, so in place of SGST, you can just write rate of CGST. So this will become 2 into rate of CGST equal to 12%. And if you take the 12 on the other side, it will get divided by 12 by 2. So 12 divided by 2, which is 6. So rate of CGST is 6. Or in other words, you can write the sum in simple words as well, since the rate of CGST is half of GST. So rate of CGST will be 12 by 2, which is 6%. This is the second sum. On certain article, if a rate of CGST is 9%, then what is the rate of SGST and what is the rate of GST? So rate of GST 9% given to you. Rate of SGST, since both of them will be the same, so SGST will also be 9%. Rate of GST, will be equal to rate of SGST plus rate of CGST. Since both of them are 9, so 9 plus 9 will give you 18%. Thus, the rate of SGST is 9% and the rate of GST is 18%. Question 3. Real Paint sold 2 tins of Lust paint and taxable value of each tin is rupees 2,800. If the rate of GST is 28%, then find the amount of CGST and SGST charged in the tax invoice. Let us start the solution. So the total taxable value of 2 tins of paint will be 2,800 multiplied by 2, which is 5,600. The rate of GST is 28%. Therefore, rate of CGST and SGST will be half of GST. So half of 28 is 14%. Amount of GST charged will be amount of SGST charged. Both of them will be equal, which is 14% of 5,600. So if you calculate this, you'll get to be rupees 784. Thus the amount of GST charged is rupees 784 and also amount of SGST charged is rupees 784. Question 4. The taxable value of a wristwatch belt is rupees 586. Rate of GST is 18%. Then what is the price of the belt for the customer? So the taxable value of the wristwatch belt is rupees 586, which is given in the question. Rate of GST is 18%, also given in the question. Amount of GST will be 18% of your taxable value. So 18 upon 100 into 586 will be 105.48. So the price of the belt for the customer will be taxable value of the wristwatch belt plus amount of GST. So that will be 586 plus amount of GST, that is 105.48. If you sum it up, you'll get rupees 691.48. Thus, the price of the belt for the customer is rupees 491.48 rupees. Question 5. The total value with GST of a remote controlled toy car is rupees 1,770 rupees. Rate of GST is 18% on the toys. We have to find the taxable value, the CGST and the SGST for this particular toy car. So let us start with the solution. Let the taxable value of the toy car be rupees X. So we'll assume the taxable value to be rupees X. The rate of GST is 18% and this is given in the question. Taxable value of the toy car plus the amount of GST. So taxable value of the toy car plus the amount of GST, the total is given in the question and that will be equal to rupees 1,770 rupees. Since the taxable value of the toy car we have considered it to be rupees X, so this will be X plus amount of GST, that is 18%, so that will be 18% of your taxable value. So taxable value is X, so it will be 18% of X, so that is written here as 18 upon 100 X. If we solve this, if we take the LCM here we'll get 118 upon 100x is equal to 1770. So if I solve this for x, x will be rupees 1500. So the taxable value of this toy car is rupees 1500. Now the rate of CGST and rate of SGST, since it will be half of the rate of GST, which is 18%, and we know half of 18 is 9. So rate of CGST and the rate of SGST will be 9%. So the amount of CGST on the toy car will be same as the amount of SGST on this toy car, which is 9% of the taxable value. That is 9 upon 100 into 1500. If you solve this, you'll get to be rupees 135. So the amount of CGST on this toy car or the amount of SGST, since both of them will be the same, that is rupees 135, and the taxable value, the price before the GST is rupees 1500.